This is the worst public health crisis for a generation.
One of our students has tested positive for coronavirus.
It has been confirmed that there are 2 cases now in England.
As of today, 8 people in England have tested positive for coronavirus.
I must level with you, level with the British public.
The situation will get worse before it gets better.
If you or anyone in your household has a high temperature or a new and continuous cough,
4 confirmed deaths.
Many more families are going to lose loved ones before their time.
The disease is now accelerating, and 53 people have sadly now died.
We will not go ahead with assessments or exams.
We've had doctors tell us that they feel like lambs to the slaughter.
You must stay at home.
422.
You should not be meeting friends.
759.
You should not be meeting family members who do not live in your home.
Social distancing.
Many lives will, sadly, be lost.
Mum, I am so sorry I can't be with you at this time.
The rate of infection has been doubling every 3 to 4 days.
I just want you to know how much you are loved by us all.
I've developed mild symptoms of the coronavirus.
You're the best mum ever.
1,019 patients in the UK.
563 more cases, a record in a single day. Our thoughts go out to the families of the victims, all their friends.
I'll miss our times together.
The new goal of 100,000 tests a day by the end of this month.
I will miss you so much.
So all of our thoughts and prayers are with the Prime Minister at this time.
Today marks a sombre day in the impact of this disease, as we join the list of countries who have seen more than 10,000 deaths related to coronavirus.
I love you, my mum. Rest in peace, you so deserve it.
I've today left hospital after a week in which the NHS has saved my life, no question.
Without them, we wouldn't be getting through this terrible pandemic, and I would not be alive and at home with my family.
The whole population is behind those heroes who work in the NHS.
Approaching his 100th birthday. The whole country, it seems like the whole world has been inspired by your achievement.
Oh, thank you.
It is still true that this is the biggest single challenge this country has faced since the war.
People say, oh, it's like having flu. I don't believe them. It's nothing like having flu. The actual coronavirus infection, I believe, is 100 times worse.
21,678 have now sadly died in hospital.
Family aren't allowed into the ITU setting as a result of infectious control. They want some good news. I have to constantly remind them that they're in critical care and we don't know how the situation will evolve.
It's thanks to that massive collective effort to shield the NHS that we avoided an uncontrollable and catastrophic epidemic. And so I can confirm today that for the first time, we are past the peak of this disease.
The number of tests yesterday, on the last day of April, was 122,347.
Of those who have tested positive, 29,427 have very sadly died, and our hearts go out to everyone who has lost a loved one.
It does now seem that the UK has had more deaths from COVID-19 than any other country in Europe.
30,076 have now died.
This is not the time simply to end the lockdown this week. Instead, we're taking the first careful steps to modify our measures.
400,000 gowns flown in from Turkey for coronavirus medics last month fell short of UK standards and were deemed useless by UK health and safety inspectors.
We must stay alert, control the virus, and save lives. 32,065 have now died.
Yesterday's ONS figures showed that at least 40% of all deaths from COVID-19 were in care homes. Does the Prime Minister accept that the government was too slow to protect people in care homes?
He passed away
with no one near him.
Yes, it is absolutely true that the number of casualties has been too high, but we are making progress, Mr. Speaker.
Of those tested positive for coronavirus, 33,614 have now died.
How many times have you travelled to Durham in lockdown, Mr. Cummings?
Is it one rule for you, Mr. Cummings, and another rule for everybody else?
I think that what I did was the most reasonable thing in the circumstances.
Many businesses already have been facing an enormous amount of difficulty. Many people have already been facing an enormous amount of difficulty. And you asked about unemployment. Despite this extraordinary and significant intervention that we've put in place, I can't and we can't protect every single job and every single business. There will be hardship ahead for many.
1,570 cases confirmed as of yesterday, and this is the lowest number since the 25th of March.
From the 15th of June, we intend to allow all other non-essential retail to reopen.
The number of deaths from coronavirus with a positive test yesterday was 55, the lowest since the 21st of March. That means that the total number of deaths stands at 40,597.
Step 2 was implemented as planned in phases on the 1st and the 15th of June. Shops have opened, children have started to return to school, and people have been able to see more of their loved ones.
Do you want to give Nana a hug?
We can now make life easier for people to see more of their friends and family, and to help businesses get back on their feet and people back into jobs. Of course, the fight is far from over, and I must tell you that if the virus were to begin to run out of control, I will not hesitate to put on the handbrake and reverse some of these changes at local or indeed national level as required.
While cases in most parts of the country have fallen since the peak, in Leicester they've continued to rise. Given the growing outbreak in Leicester, we cannot recommend that the easing of the national lockdown set to take place on the 4th of July happens in Leicester.
As lockdown eases, we should focus on supporting the livelihoods of business owners and their employees up and down the country. But the success of these businesses, the livelihoods of those who rely on them, and ultimately the economic health of the whole country, is dependent on every single one of us acting responsibly. Lockdown only succeeded in controlling the virus because everyone worked together. And we will only succeed in reopening if everyone works together again, because we're not out of the woods yet.